What's up, DBs? Coach D Magic here, former D1 defensive back. I'm super excited about this video. We got rookie minicamp drills, DB drills. And the funny thing about this is that I want to say like 95% of these drills are in our DB mastery program. So quite literally, right? I'm always saying, hey, if you want elite drills, if you want D1 drills, grab our DB mastery program. Like, I promise you guys, these drills that they're doing at rookie minicamp are in our DB mastery program. So if you want the drills, make sure you go to thedbnetwork.com. Okay, so a lot of these are fairly simple fundamental drills. So by the way, that was Jahdae Barron, the first DB selected in the NFL draft. I don't know his name. I want to say Azariah Thomas or Azarie Thomas out of Florida State, doing DB drills with the Jets. He's going to link up with Sauce Gardner. He has a lot of length, so I can see why they drafted him. So I'm going to talk about all of these drills and the relevance of them, which ones, you should be doing, and then just kind of help you guys build your own fundamental program. Because realistically, if you just do all of these drills and you know how to progress it, or if you know how to kind of schedule it, this could theoretically be enough for you to become a better DB. Obviously, right, drills are maybe 20% of the battle. The IQ is what we're big here on the DB network. So make sure you're watching all of our YouTube videos. I literally talked to a 12-year NFL DB, and I asked him, how much of the game is drills and how much are technique and how much of the game is IQ. He said that he felt the game was 10% technique, 90% IQ. And that's his perspective, right? He played 12 years in the league. How can you argue with that? I would say, though, that if you're just learning the position, I would say the technique is probably half, because you want to know how to move, right? You got to know where your eyes should be, how to step, how to throw your hands, how to open, how to turn. But as the game gets more complicated, right, as you progress in your career, yes, the technique becomes less of a necessity. And it is the IQ, because you got to know how you're going to be attacked, right? So you got to know how to prepare. You got to know how to see a formation, see a split, and know that the route tree can only be this much based on the formation, based on the down distance, based on the split, right? So I definitely understand what he was talking about when he says he felt the game was 90% mental, 10% physical. By the way, this is Shilo Sanders, looking good. I heard he flew out there early to work with Antoine Winfield, one of the top safeties in the league. That was a very smart move. All right. So I'm always I'm always trying to help you guys in any way see the game, see life from different perspective, right? So this is a very standard drill, okay? Backpedal. As you backpedal, you're going to start with some type of read step. So slow out. Then you're going to speed up your backpedal, okay? You're going to open, all right? Try to have a low front shoulder as you open. And then they're not really braking. They're just breaking down. Now, the key here, and I do this with a lot of my young guys, before we get into braking, your body and your balance has to be aligned, right? Because if you're falling all over the place, if you can't stop, decelerate, right, and then hold your position, you're not going to be able to break 90, 45, all right, 135, reverse 90, whatever drills may come of this, right? So I really like this. Slow back pedal out, read steps, speed up the tempo. You're opening, all right, decelerate, control your body. All right, and this is every NFL team does this drill. It's just an agility drill. Flip your hips open, flip your hips open, flip your hips open. So this is a great drill. I would say this is more in the warm-up category. All right, this is more in the warm-up category of just getting your body flowing, flipping those hips, being able to catch the football. So I would say if I'm a DB coach, I would be doing this pregame. This is more of a pregame drill. And I really like this drill because this is the pure step, or the read step technique. All right, it's a press man technique that's in our DB mastery program. All right, so two ways to do it. You can take a mandatory outside step, or you can take a step to your leverage. Like most people are taking it outside, right? So once the receiver moves, watch this foot, small 6-inch step. All right. Okay. And I would say that his step is a little too wide and he's leaning, right? You see how we got like an angle here? You can see like this triangle should be more straight. And I would say he's leaning a little bit more. I was told, and I kind of believe that like usually once you engage your core, so like squeeze your core, you'll have more balance. I would say this step is a little too long, too big, and we're leaning a little bit. You see how now we lean? That was a perfect example. See how we're stepping, right? We're kind of leaning here, and then watch how this kind of leans, and see how we lean back the other way. So in theory, like in a perfect world, we want to be balanced when we take that step replace, kick at a 45-degree angle, offhand jam. We have that in our DB Mastery program. All right. And he probably corrected him here. Watch the DB coach. See how he's kind of like holding his hip, and watch. See how he's kind of demonstrating the step, right? And he probably was telling him the exact same thing I told him. Step. All right. Offhand jam. We have this called the pure step, kick step technique, pure kick, step kick, depending. Back pedal, open. All right. And now we can add our brakes. So this is a very simple drill you guys should be doing all the time. You're never too good for this drill, because this guy's not too good for this drill. The Broncos aren't too good for this drill. Back pedal open. All right. And now we can break 45. We can break 0. We can break 90. Make sure you have a base. It looks like we're kind of about to cross our feet over here. Good low front shoulder, but make sure you have a base. All right, and he kind of slips out. That's probably why he slipped out. All right, so again, back pedal open, and you have angles 0, 45, 90, reverse 90. I call it reverse 45, which is what he just did. All right, let me see if we can get something else of relevance. All right, everybody does that back pedal turn drill. All right. Now these guys are just working. I really like this drill. You can do this with your partner, mom, dad. You can do it with your son, your athletes. I really like this drill. It's just the mirror offhand jam drill. All right. So we're reading the inside hip or the belly button, or some people even say the back knee, man. So you're watching center mass of the receiver. All right. As he releases, we're going to step offhand punch. So if he's working to our right, we're throwing with our left hand. All right. And I like that they don't reset. I like that they don't pop back up. Okay. I like that they don't pop back up. This is exactly what I do too with my guys. Like, you should be able to live in this position. All right. Step punch, and we're already right back in position. No need to stand up, get back down, stay. And you got to live in your chair. All right. Reading the hip. Boom. Step punch. Stay in your chair. Step punch. All right. Make it a reaction, or make it a random, so they don't always just go left, right. Make them really react to you. All right. Simulating the outside release. Okay. Simulating the outside release. Step, kick. All right. Keeping our eyes low. Receiver. It could be a diamond release, or the receiver's trying to work back inside. Flip our hips. All right. Drive. Good eyes here as we flip our hips. Boom. Good eyes to the imaginary target. Boom. Then we find the ball. All right. So let's get into, Maxwell Harrison's doing the same stuff. Maxwell Harrison ran like a 4.3. I think he was the second DB drafted maybe for the Bills. Definitely need to, I think him and, what's his name? Benford. Oh, I forget his name. Benford. Benford was like a top 10 ranked overall DB, right? So if we can get Maxwell Harrison playing well, we're going to be straight. And then we got Lathan Ransom. All right, this is a great indie drill, or this is a great warm-up drill. I do this drill with my guys all the time. All right, you're going to shuffle to your left, and then he's going to cross over and then flip his hips, right? So shuffle, crossover, and then you're flipping your hips back that way, right? Flipping your, opening your hips. So you can do it 3 different ways. Shuffle, shuffle, open. Crossover, crossover, open, or you can mix it. Shuffle, crossover, open, or crossover, shuffle, open, all right? But he's going to go with shuffle, crossover, flip those hips, find the ball. All right, attack the ball. So this is a great warm-up drill, And then, like I said, the same thing that everyone's doing the same drills for the most part. This is just a variation of the box drill. Okay, everyone does the box drill. 4 cones in a box. You can backpedal, brake, shuffle, backpedal, shuffle, sprint. Like there's so many things you can do, but they're doing a different variation. Open, crossover run, tap the cone, get here. All right, open, crossover run, and then you're going to, I call this a reverse 45 angle. I think because this is a 45-degree angle where we're looking, right? If we're going opposite of where we're looking, I call it reverse. So he's going to reverse 45 back down to this cone. And then, Jacob Parrish does the same thing. And then Shiloh's safety drills are going to be different, right? Their read steps are going to be different. So watch how he's kind of scooching out. Scooch, right? You see that read step right there? Scooch, all right? And it's very big, especially if you run a lot of quarters, all right? You got to read out before you lock your eyes on number 2 or whatever you're doing in quarters, right? Pedal. All right, this is more of a combine type drill, but it's great to see who has hips and who doesn't. Open, all right, and he looks really good. So the key, if you're coaching that, you want to stay on that line. Start on that line and stay on that line. That'll tell you who's doing the drill the best. Start on that line, stay on that line. It's really difficult to do, actually. So I really like that one. You guys can do that one as well. 45-degree break. Everybody understands that, right? Here, opening. Let's say the quarterback opens here. All right, we're about to break here, but then he resets and goes the other way with the ball. All right, you don't want to speed turn as a safety. You want to play top down. All right, you should be able to see everything. So again, it's rare that you want to speed turn as a safety. You should be able to see everything clearly. All right, boom. Locates the imaginary new target. Let's imagine this is the imaginary new target. Boom. Once we know the angle, we can get our eyes back up because we already know the ball is being thrown. Go catch the ball. All right, so I hope you guys learned something, man. I really like this stuff. Sorry that it was a little long, and a lot of you guys might already understand this, but at the end of the day, you know, they're not really doing drills that we don't have in the DB Mastery program. They're not doing drills that maybe you haven't already been experienced to, right? It's all about understanding the fundamentals, the pad level, the steps, the eye discipline, all that stuff, right? So make sure you go to thedbnetwork.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.